1 year ago, this guy applied to attend my retreat. He's already been training since he was 16 years old, and he was following philosophies of Mike Mensa, which led him to Dorian Yates, which led him to me. So Alex came, and he's always trained, but he's in good shape, but he could never maintain it, and he was a bit fluffy, was his words. So he wanted to find a system where he could maintain it forever. And not only that, to have that mental energy. As you know Alex now, met him, he wants that edge, he wants that drive to be able to do it. And he met me and he said, I've never met anybody with as much energy as you. And I'm 30 years older than him, or 25 years older than him. And he was like, holy shit. And I want your veins in your quads. Give me those veins. Okay, let's do it. Alex's words, it's no real diet plan. Something he wanted to create and learn. And he's been learning and putting it into practice, as has Ali. Ali came to me as well, and he is one of a kind. We're going to get to Ali as well. He just tell me what to do. He showed me his calendar. He said, you probably won't hear from me very much. And I thought, when you don't hear from clients very much, they often don't do the work. This guy was different. I saw his calendar, I was, holy shit. This guy, every 10 minutes, 15 minutes, meeting. So 5 weeks later, I come back, I've lost 20 pounds. How'd you do? I just did what you said. And he did the work. But that doesn't normally happen. So there's always exceptions. So it's always better if you have coaching to check in with your coach. But 1 year later, as you can see, he didn't just find the system, he halved his training, probably 2/3 less of his training. He lowered his body fat and increased his strength, as we just tested it. Last year he did 10 reps with 3 plates. Before he came here he did 20 reps. And then here he did 10 reps with 365 with Dorian. So increased his strength no end in a year. For an advanced lifter, that is really, really special. For a beginner, that's expected. But for somebody advanced, that could be the difference between gold medal or just entered when you're that advanced. So what is it? I call it the alpha diet. And as Richard, he's more extreme yesterday, he's carnivore, so no carbs at all. Now I use carbohydrates strategically for many reasons. I'm going to get into that. But this was me, age 40. I showed you this picture, because people say, oh, well, you're genetically gifted. Genetics were good. You have to have good genetics to win a bodybuilding competition. You're not going to win one with crap genetics. But there's loads of people with good genetics, but they go in your mid-30s that won't take you into your 40s with just genetics. You have to have knowledge, system, and be on point. So that was me at 40. I'd got chronic indigestion, fatigue. I would eat breakfast. I would eat my oats, muesli, orange juice, and be exhausted, literally falling asleep at the wheel, waiting for your training partner to turn up. So I thought, this can't go on. So I went strict keto. Didn't know anything about it, was just researching, reading books, because I steadily started putting butter in the coffee. Eating so much butter, I thought I'd better learn about cholesterol. I've always gone against the grain though, since the story I told you about my dad and what they did with his cancer. So I just thought, if they're saying that, I'll do the opposite. And that's the way that I work. And that was me 5 years later, age 45. That was the pro show. The other picture that I showed you was the amateur show, where I had no carbs. This was where I introduced the carbs for 4 months, and this was the pro show around Christmas time in 2018. And I found introducing those carbs as a physique athlete had benefits for the physique. Whether it has health benefits, for some people, no. But for hormonal benefits, it does. But again, we're looking to be the ultimate athlete. So I find that strategical carb loading has its benefits. And you can see I'm much more vascular and fuller. You didn't see the other picture, but I've showed you already. So again, fast forward, to that, age 50, nearly 51. Now, this is the show that Dorian told me to enter. He said, you're going to win. So I visualized it. Yeah, I'm going to win. And that was me in 2023, Christmas. And I'm still the same body weight now. So I haven't dieted a day since then. But my journey, I started in the Dream Boys. Here, modeling, and which one am I now? So you can see that one. There you go. So I auditioned to that, got in there age 20, and went around the world and partied a lot. We did, that's right, the Spice Girls movie, we can see here, sitting, Baby Spice sitting on me, and there's my butt, if anybody wants to see. That was the compromise in the movie.
Can you swap that around?
I'm going to press the right button soon. But the moment that changed everything was, again, it wasn't the genetics or anything. I was just felt old. I would do 10 squats and I would be out of breath, so I had to change. I found I had chronic inflammation, low testosterone, and just metabolic breakdown. Acid reflux, that was one of my things. Anybody else suffered with that? Mm-hmm. It's super common. I mean, especially when you get around 35, I would bolt upright in the bed and this burning sensation. It was awful. But I would carry around, do you have Tums in my pocket?
No, never.
Yeah, that's what it is, heartburn.
Oh.
That's what acid reflux is, heartburn.
Oh yeah, I used to get that all the time.
And as Dr. Sarah said, this is from the inflamed, what does she call it? The upper fermenting gut. Americans call it SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. But it was all day, couldn't get rid of it. The doctor, I phoned the doctor, told him, he said, oh yeah, come and pick up your prescription. He didn't ask me what I ate, didn't ask me what I drink, do you smoke, do you drink, nothing. Just pick up your prescription. So I picked up the prescription, it's called a PPI, which is a proton pump inhibitor. That kills 80% of your microbiome, and it lowers your stomach acid. They actually treat this as if you've got low stomach acid, when actually the problem is you've got high. They treat it as if you've got high, you've actually got low stomach acid, because you're not digesting the food. So they treat it the opposite, but it relieves the symptoms, but it doesn't cure you. So I never took one tablet. Again, I threw them away, changed my diet. 5 days later, gone. Never took a Tums since. It's unbelievable. This one, IBS. So many clients come to me with irritable bowel syndrome. They have trouble going to the bathroom, or they can't stop going to the bathroom, or it's just not a pleasant experience. When you get to 35, things are going wrong. Chronic fatigue, as I said, morning crash, you would hit the energy drinks by the afternoon, or the coffee, the sugary treats.
I was infamous for minimum 5 a day.
5 a day, I remember you saying.
Yeah.
And how many do you have now?
I mean, I drink them because I like them.
Yeah.
So I drink like 1, sometimes 2.
But that's a huge difference. Mm-hmm. And you have it in the morning. You don't crash in the afternoon now. No. And
if I do feel tired, I know it's because the previous day before I was consuming more chicken than steak, and then I was low on energy.
Yeah, high leucine, high protein without the fat can make you tired. But as you said, you don't get that crash at all. You get tired at 10 at night, you go to bed. Mm-hmm. That's exactly normal behavior. Bloating, a lot of people are bloating. Many people start this diet and lose 10, 15 pounds in a week. It's, you wouldn't believe the change in some people that's so quick. I know a lot of you have already done it as well. But the brain fog, Jeff said to me, Jeff Mendes, if you can get rid of my brain fog, then I'll be happy with that, only that. And then he texted me after a week of, he wasn't even working with me then, he just started doing it since Costa Rica. Brain fog's gone. But I'm going to work with you anyway. So, you know, it went like that. So it's amazing, as this guy has just said. But this is interesting. Testosterone. My brother got his testosterone test and it was 10.5 on the English scale. That's about 400. And he's obese. So I thought mine's bound to be higher. I train, I go to the gym, I've got muscle. I tested mine and it was 10. This was before keto, so it was lower than his. So I went to the doctor. They did prescribe me some. I was like, oh my God, you're going to give me testosterone? I was like, whoopity-doo. So he gave it me, he injected me, but then he would only do it once every 3 weeks, which is almost a waste of time, making you worse. But then after 12 weeks, he said, can't do it anymore. Got a letter from the endocrinologist, this is dangerous. So then I found Mike. Then I found the ketogenic diet. So those pictures that you saw with that change was no testosterone, nothing for, since I had those 4 shots off the guy, then 2 years of nothing. And then I went on testosterone a year after the shows because my libido never came back. But my muscle was there. My testosterone went from 10 to 19 on the ketogenic diet. So a lot of people would be happy with that, but I want to be ultimate human, not just average. I like to be way above. So I started the testosterone replacement. But I did take steroids when I joined the Dream Boys when I was 20. So that obviously had a negative effect with my own production when I was 46. But, 46, it's not a young age to start testosterone at all.
To retire.
Yeah.
And do gardening.
Exactly. Traditional, I'll run through this because we'll get to the carb cycling. Calorie counting didn't work, low-fat diet, bodybuilding diet, chicken. As I said to some guys earlier, how good is the food here? And this is how I eat every day. I used to eat boiled rice, boiled chicken, and broccoli, as everybody that's done bodybuilding. That's what you think you have to eat. And that's not sustainable. It's super boring. If you do that in prep, 12, 16 weeks of that, at the back of the show, it's unbelievable. Donuts, pizzas, sweets. It's really frightening how much they get. I had a tin of sardines at the back of the show, and they're having donuts. It was actually anchovies, even worse. I was on. But that was the first show. The other one was after the carbs. And if we compared those two pictures, I put on about 2 kilos heavier and more vascular by having the carbs before the show. But that was age 40. There, another picture. I probably look younger now than that picture.
Yeah.
And that's 13 years ago. So I always say keto ages you backwards, and this is proof. This is proof. So the Alpha diet stands for anabolic leverage of protein hormone activation, or Alpha. Al being my name. So it's a cyclical ketogenic strategy. So why do we do the carb cycling? Because for aesthetic reasons, but there's also hormonal reasons that I was telling you. When insulin is low all the time, which it is on the ketogenic diet, you do get insulin spikes if you eat a huge bolus of protein, but nothing spikes insulin like carbohydrate. But the problem with a normal standard diet is you're always spiking insulin, so you're not sensitive to insulin. You become insulin resistant. And that is the cause of pretty much all pathology, all disease, is insulin resistance. So to get insulin sensitive, you come off the carbs. But when you introduce them back at the right amounts at the right time, they can be very anabolic. And that's what we want. That's why it's called anabolic leverage. Now, I didn't invent this diet. This was invented by Dr. Mauro Di Pasquale. He wrote a book in 1995 called The Anabolic Diet. And he was a world champion powerlifter. And he called it a phase shift diet. So you phase into ketosis and you phase out, in and out. And you become very anabolic when you have those carbohydrates. So I use, and I recommend, white rice. If you're doing a longer carb load of a Saturday and Sunday, then you would use a lower glycemic carb, like sweet potato. But a short, fast carb load of 5 hours to 8 hours, white rice, cream of rice, rice cakes, honey, bit of jam, anything like that. And it just makes it pleasurable. It makes it sociable for eating out. So the wife's mum used to own a sushi restaurant, so we would go for sushi at the weekend. I think that's one of the cleanest, nicest foods. Even when you're eating carbs of sushi, you feel like you could still go out dancing after it. But if you go for an Indian meal, you want to lay down after. You don't want to go out dancing after that. Exactly. Not that I wouldn't ever eat Indian meal again, but you want to be lowering your fat content when you're eating the carbs. I still would add a little salmon with the sushi. I would have salmon nigiri, but I'll have tuna. I would have some white fish, a little prawn. You don't have to be zero fat when you do it. I've tried that and I found that I'm never full. I like to have a little bit of full to handle your satiety. So sushi to me is the perfect. Secondly, I would go for a Thai meal or something. Again, Asian food, the wife's Chinese, so we go out for Asian food. So it's perfect. And you get that twice a week. So it makes it really, really socially sustainable. And this is the problem I find, or I think, with the carnivore diet. I've been out with carnivores and you're sitting having your dinner and you've got your Greek salad and stuff, and they're finished. They're finished in 5 minutes and you're just still mixing your salad. So that's the problem with that. I do carnivore meals at home, especially when the wife's away, because you can't be bothered to make the salad for one. So you just do steak and eggs. So it's whatever makes. The best diet is the one that you can sustain forever if it's working for you. And this way of eating, for me, I can do this effortlessly forever. And that's what I do. Again, am I going the wrong way? I'm going the wrong way. Unless I keep posting pictures of myself for you to see. So again, that's what I just said. It resets the metabolism with the insulin sensitivity, eliminates the cravings and energy crashes, boosts testosterone. That's what I was saying. Insulin is low. When insulin's low, SHBG can go high. SHBG is the sex hormone binding globulin. If you've got all this testosterone, it's like having $10,000 in the bank, but no bank card. So you can't spend the money. So you've got good testosterone, but you can't get to it because the sex hormone binding globulin's grabbing it. It binds to it. What lowers that? Insulin. So when insulin comes up, you spike it with the carbohydrate, SHBG comes down, and then testosterone is free. Who was it saying that the more horny, was yourself, wasn't it, when you've done that? Yeah. And you say, why does that happen? And that is why. It's a great feeling. Erections are better after that. You can sleep better. Some people don't sleep very well doing carnivore and strict keto. Often they're doing it a bit wrong. They're getting something wrong, but once they have that carb meal, it relaxes them and they can sleep. But this is why. For somebody who's a carb addict, you have to go strict first and break those addictions. I did it for 2 years strict. I didn't have any carb. It was less than 50 grams, some berries, etc. But I was always in ketosis for 2 years. But I did have low libido. That's why I started the testosterone, I guess, as well. So maybe I could have paused that a little. Maybe I jumped on that too quickly. Because I took them in the past, in the 90s, I know what they can do in the gym. That almost craved my addiction of wanting to be on something. That's a bit of an addict, because steroids are addictive, because it's the feeling. Anything that makes you feel good is addictive. Coffee, porn, sex, drugs, anything is addictive if it brings up your dopamine. I'm going to perhaps go the right way one day on this. But here's with Torian. That's what we do. We'll whiz through these so we're not talking all day. Here's some transformation. This guy, this is the guy I told you about. He was 255 kilos, which is what's that, 565 pounds?
Holy smokes.
I bumped into him in London at Christmas. He was 78 kilos or 168 pounds now. Here he's about 185.
That's crazy.
He's about 6'2", 6'1", 6'2", 255 kilos.
It's 2 humans.
Huge. This guy could not walk for more than 30 seconds. He would have to sit down.
That's more than half of 1,000.
And he owns a Wimpy, or like Burger King. But he didn't want to eat there, so he would walk up the high street, stop, walk up, get to KFC, so his mum and dad didn't know what he was doing, eat a whole bucket, Coke, and then walk back down. And a bit later, walk back up and do that. So, I mean, that's life-changing, isn't it? And this guy, we recognise this one? Who's this guy? Now, Ali actually was much bigger than that, weren't you? Much bigger. What was you, 265? 275. 6'2", 275. And you did this in, you lost some weight before you came to me.
This was early.
Yeah, you got better than that. Yeah, you got better than that. But you got, yeah, that was right. March to November, that was. But you got stuck, didn't you? That's when you'd met me. You'd lost a bit of weight from that big picture.
10 pounds,
Yeah.
75 to 265.
Oh, is that all? 10 pounds?
And then from
Yeah. And again, Ali was the anomaly that just tell me what to do, I'll do it. See you later. Fantastic. And Alex, as you can see, and this fellow with the veins, 53 years old and still improving. And that's my goal, is to be an athlete at 80. And as you noticed, this time the training has changed. More functional stuff, more mobility stuff. I've found the more mobility, I just love being able to do stuff that younger people can't do, never mind my age. My daughter's friends were around, they're 18 years old and I'm doing pistol squats and they couldn't do them. I'm like, how the hell is he 53? Come on. So I just love doing that, so that's me. But that's it, guys. Is it right for you? That's for when I send it to people. But as you know, I believe it's right for everybody. There you go, guys.